Also coming from a family of 8 children, you need some...
8 children?
Yeah, and 30, I've lost count, but we are 32, some 40 now, nephews and nieces.
Sure.
So if in Baningi in that way, you were like...
start a record label at
I
home.
was absolutely... I couldn't balance psychology. And when it went to 3rd year, it just got worse, you know. I said...
So you ran away?
No, I really ran away. I said, run away from you. I still tell stories, regardless, you know what I mean? And so I think even in transitioning and trying to like apply myself in other genres, I didn't want to lose a sense of who Cici is in terms of what I say and how I say it. I didn't sang kinyago dumedisa ba mamedi ba UFM wa bona ke bona le khoa le le desa wa tsaba le
Your mornings with Malume Tap.
On a Thursday, which leads us into your morning guest. And we truly are blessed this morning. Let me tell you, right, it's the first guest we've had on the show since we started doing your morning guest, right? Normally, we have to send somebody to the front gate to let our guest in, right? Security are quite staunch here at the studios. But this morning, our producer walks outside and our guest is already in. So she goes to security. She's like, what's going on? They're like, no, it's Cici. We let her in. Security, we're a little bit starstruck this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages, welcome to your morning, Cici. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're
morning,
very
we're
well.
Good.
We're well awake, as the first question you asked us when you got into studio this morning was, you're
What
like,
time?
what time do you guys wake up? No, we've
Because
been awake, right?
Yeah, no, I can tell.
Thanks for coming into the studio. Thanks for having a chat with us. Now, I want to start at the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
I always like to start these interviews and go way back in time. And now, you were passionate about music from a super young age. Rumor has it you were inspired by the late Brenda Fassie and Lebo Matosa.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, we all got to know about you when you gained recognition with your single Runaway.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what made you want to get into music and how did it all start?
Actually, as a kid, I've just never wanted to do anything else. I don't remember saying, oh, I want to be a police, a nurse. I was like, I want to sing. I want to be Whitney Houston. I want to be
Cheers.
Brandy Monaga, you know? So for me, and also I think the love for music was instilled in me by my late older brother, who used to perform at pageants. You know, in Makaya, we have these pageants, Miss Summer, Miss Winter. And he would perform Ash at 7 o'clock. He's popping and locking. And I'm like, and the people are like, what? Robert, we love you. Pew, flashing and all that stuff. And I was like, I want that. I want that. I was like, I love that. And he enjoyed it so much being on stage. So also coming from a family of 8 children, you need some...
8 children?
Yeah, and 30, I've lost count, but we are 32, some 40 now, nephews and nieces.
Sure.
So if in Baningi in that way, you were like...
start a record label at
I
home.
was absolutely...
Start a record
I
label
can
at
start a
home.
record label, a football club, listen, everything. And I was like, I needed something that made me stand out of like all the 8 children. And I did. You know, my dad used to call me his little radio. And every time we had people come over, others would make tea and all of this, wash dishes.
Were you called to perform?
I was just the entertainment. I was like, sorry, coming. So yeah, I mean, I think it's also just, I'm not a very vocal individual. Well, when I was younger, I wasn't as expressive. And so I found that music was like a way of expressing myself, you know what I mean, and how I felt in the moment.
For you to come out of your shell.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's something else that you and I have in common, right? We both ended up pursuing entertainment careers, but
Yeah.
you know, there's family pressures and you got to go to school, you got to study something.
Yeah.
We both went and studied psychology.
Yeah.
You then dropped out and pursued music. Talk
Yeah.
to me about that.
So actually, I entered a competition while I was studying my second year, going into my 3rd year of psychology at UJ.
We even studied at the same place, the same degree. The same degree.
We probably were in the same class.
Multiple choice.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. No, yes, B. Oh, Sigmund Freud. No, this one. I said it's not me. And so I won the competition and released my first single called Runaway. And yeah, that's the song that actually gave me recognition, in the music industry. Cici, Runaway. And so I couldn't balance psychology. And when it went to third year, it just got worse, I said,
So you ran away?
No, I really ran away. I said, run away from you.
Yes.
All right, that was just the first part. That's just the intro. You led us here.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way back. Is it scary to think that like 2015 is almost 10 years ago? It's almost been 10 years.
Crazy because I'm like, heck, what the heck? I'm old now, Miss.
No, you're not.
If I start counting, I'm like, no. Also, minus the 2 years that COVID robbed us, I don't count, so yeah, I'm a bit young.
All of us, subtract 2 from your age. All right, we're back into it. It's a Thursday, which means it's your morning guest, and we're hanging out with the awesome Cici is in studio with us today. Now, we talked about the start of it and Runaway. We even played Runaway for you, but let's fast forward to some modern music. I so enjoyed the clip of the president of Botswana jamming at the summit to Hamba Juba. Talk to me about the recent projects. You were also on that the track with DJ Zinhle, Thwala. How did those collaborations come about, and how has your music changed from then to now?
So my music, the only thing that changed is just like the direction or like the type of music, but like how I write and everything is still the same, because if you slow down all of my songs, literally I still tell stories regardless, you know what I mean? And so I think even in transitioning and trying to like apply myself in other genres, I didn't want to lose a sense of who Cici is in terms of what I say and how I say it. And yeah, man, I mean, I think I worked on Hamba Juba, which was like an unexpected success for me. And how that came about is like I was actually saying to the guy in that time, I was like, nah, bro, I'm tired. Like, I'm exhausted. Like, music is exhausting. I am retiring. I'm hanging my... He's like, no, okay. You know what? Let's come to studio. Let's see what comes out. And if you're really, really sure that you don't want to do it, then, okay, I'll leave you alone.
Sure.
So then I got to studio and they were playing the beats. Hamba Juba. And I was like, oh, this sounds, dope. And then started writing to it. And I'm like, yeah. He fucking. And I was like, okay.
You gotta love studio sessions, though.
And so laced it, did the verse, did the chorus. Then I was like, okay, let's test this because this is a new genre for me. Let's test it. Let's put it out on my social media. Let's see what people say because, from Afro pop to Amapiano, it's just like it's bonkers. It's crazy. Switched off my phone for 30 minutes. I called my manager. I'm like, yo, is Keep Honey on the streets? What are people saying? And she was like, girl, you need to turn on the phone because people are going crazy for this song. Then people started me on TikTok, hey, Murumba Pitch. I didn't even know who Murumba Pitch was at that time. But I was like, okay, let's give people what they want. Went to a session with Murumba. He laced it, which is like probably also one of the biggest verse, they've ever done. Kind of,
I won't lie. That verse put Marumba Pitch on the map.
Yeah. And yeah, that was it. I think most of the people, and then obviously we put Lady Amar as the DJ because for me, I was like, I don't want to be the face of the song because I'm not even sure of the genre. So let's put her on as the DJ, and then me, and then Marumba Pitch, and then JLSA, who's the producer of the song. And yeah, man, it was,
I'm not a fan of her name, by the way.
Lady Amma.
Yeah.
Lady Amma Million.
She should have rather called herself that.
How?
What's wrong
Maybe,
with Lady Amma?
what's wrong with that?
Because of the Lady Zamar.
We've got Lady Zamar, and now it's Lady Amma, and it's very confusing. You know how many people, I've seen people tagging Lady Zamar in the Hamba Juba, like, challenge and the videos. So.
Yeah, well, maybe that's nice product placement, just like the other,
You mentioned a lot about your process, your writing process. I mean, you fully consider yourself a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
Have you ever had situations where songs have been written for you? Because I mean, it's quite common in the music industry.
Yeah. So what I always try to do, because it's South Africa, they don't want to pay us. So you always try to say, okay, at least if I have a verse and chorus, and then someone else can like write a verse for me.
Sure.
So I've had Java write for me. I've had Black Diamond write for me. Yeah, probably those are like the two people that have ever written for me. Was written by
Java.
Danya. No. Was Java. And so yeah, they wrote a couple.
Effortless voice. She's doing it. That's right. Showing off.
So yeah, I mean those are the like two artists that have ever written like a song for me. But most of the time I write my own songs. But also I'm not like, no, I don't want anyone to write for me, because I think like we interpret songs differently as artists, and like the flow and the melodies might be very different to how I.
Temba, you mentioned how effortless the voice is, right? Well, I've got a little challenge for Cici here.
Let's go.
Outside of singing and using that voice for incredible songs that have changed everybody's lives and blown the whole country up, apparently she's quite good at accents as
Is
well.
that so, man?
Right? Rumor has it you've got quite a talented accent in terms of and I've heard the one, right? I've already heard the one come out. But I want to hear from you. Give us your Spitori. Okay, you can do a Spitori, an Indian accent, as well as a colored accent. Give me those three.
Sure, didn't sang kinyago dumedisa ba mamedi ba UFM wa bona ke bona le khoa le le desa wa tsena le
I'll take it. As long as you add miskat.
Oh, wait, you want me to add the cat? What are you saying to me? Man. No, man, guys, you wanting me now to thinking in the morning, and my brain is not like, it's not working. So our brains as artists, we don't want to work full time. We only work after 12, then we start working, man, But no, man, it's fine, man.
And by 12, we mean midnight.
Yeah, man, we are almost here by the UFM, bruh.
The reason I asked you to do that is I wanted to ask you about voice acting. Is it something that you'd get interested in? Maybe animated movies or that kind of stuff. Would you lend your talents to that kind of career?
I would, but I mean, I think I'd probably have to go through like, I'd have to practice. I'd have to go take classes just to sharpen the skill. Even if you do have it, it's like even if you can sing, you still have to do like, you have to train your voice. You know what I mean? So definitely, you know what I mean. I think I'm also at that point in my life where I'm opening myself up to like whatever it is that I can do. You know what I mean? And I'm not limiting myself or boxing myself. And that's why I did study acting a little bit. At Wits, and so that's why for me, I can tap into acting. I can be a musician. So for me,
Bollywood is calling, don't worry.
Oh, Gori Karam shadows don't.
Hey, man, if they pay. Y'all are joking. You're saying here in South Africa we don't pay. You get a voiceover gig in Bollywood or in Nollywood or even in Hollywood. You're going to get some serious
and they
cash.
buy these nice houses and they make them look like museum. God. Everywhere's gold.
We like you.
All right, now we're going to get on to some serious stuff. Khadi's been asking about this the whole morning, knowing that you were coming in.
Yeah.
Your court battle, right?
Yeah.
We know that it's ongoing, and last year, a lot of
Court.
with Ambitious Entertainment.
No,
because they're
what
still
court?
claiming
What?
that.
No.
Are they still not
They
claiming?
Are
that you're
you
the
still an
artist?
ambitious
They are
artist?
just claiming. That is what you are saying. They are just claiming. I am a free artist.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I think if you go and look at Hamba Juba, I can ambitious lapayana. If you look at the recent song, which is Mcholo, I can ambitious lapaya. So yeah, they're just clutching on straws and just, I mean, I think it's also just sad because I did have a great run with Ambitious.
Sure.
And I think I did my best to try and be as professional as cordial, but if people cannot stop being deceptive, then it's just difficult and dishonest. And hiding things and no transparency. And for me, that's really important. And I think if that trust is broken, then you start. I mean, if you go on YouTube now, on their page, none of my stuff is there because I had asked them. I said, okay,
Please remove it.
no. I said, where the money at? Then when you hold people accountable, then account. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But instead of them being accountable, they just removed my stuff.
Jeez, just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, because obviously if we now start saying, okay, paper trail, let's check. Okay, this video had this much, this had this much.
And we're talking about YouTube money now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, no hate. You know what I mean? I think sometimes when you wanna grow, God will make the situation uncomfortable. So I really don't hate, and that's why you will never find me saying anything about ambitious on any of my social media platforms. You know what I mean? Even though they will try and go to newspapers and be like, "This is still our artist," and I'm just like, I'm not gonna respond to that because you and me know the truth. You know what I mean? And yeah, but it's going to get to the
And there
point-
is no existing contract, right?
no, none whatsoever. Yeah, well, actually, my contracts were terminated. They expired in 2021. So if really I was a mean person, I would say, listen, because of 1, 2, 3, it means I actually own the masters to the songs released after this time and that time. But I didn't care about that. I didn't care about the money that was taken from me. I just said, give me my freedom. But if you start coming for my entire career, then you're not fighting just me. You are fighting a whole bloodline. You know what I mean? Because then you're trying to stop me from taking care of my family and feeding my family. You know what I mean? But I was willing to say, we can let certain things go. But, don't try and block my entire career and my entire existence as an artist. So, yeah.
See, I got a question for you. You mentioned earlier that you got to the point before Uyenza Hamba Chuba. You're thinking about retiring, putting the mic down.
Yeah.
What had got you to that point?
Robbery. Hi. You know what I mean? It's just like you work and you're not seeing
What you're doing.
you're putting in the work. And guys, studio is emotionally exhausting and taxing for an artist. You know what I mean? And also having to be that artist, write your own songs. That also requires so much from you. You know what I mean? And you don't really have a team where they say, okay, we're gonna put you in studio with so and so. They're gonna help you write. Everything has to come from you. You know what I mean? And you still have to deal with the other stuff that comes from like outside and the questions you need answered that you're not getting answers to. So that was just like, nah, man. I think I'm like done. And that's why I went to him. I was like, listen, it's chai. You know what I mean?
I'm not here.
Yeah. I can't. I personally cannot do this. I've given 7 years of my life to ambitious, and I personally haven't seen any returns. There's nothing that I can say, okay, I bought this microphone with the money from my music.
The receipts.
And so
You're not sitting looking at the receipts.
You know what I mean? And so for me, I was like, nah, I can't. For me, I was like, I cannot lose myself chasing my dreams. It's just
The irony, the record label is called Ambitious.
Timber.
That's called out.
yeah.
I wanted to ask,
The story continues.
financially, right?
Yeah.
What are you passionate about, and what are you into outside of the music space? Have you got any side hustles or projects or things that you're passionate about that you'd like to speak about?
Right now everything is still in like the baby stages. So I'm not really comfortable speaking about it, but like I'm looking at going into business. I've done a trip to China to try and find suppliers and all of that stuff. And I think once I'm like ready to say, okay, let's do this, then I'm going to announce it, to say this is what I'm doing. But I definitely feel that
We look forward to the clothing line.
music.
We look forward to the clothing line. China, enough said.
China.
Said.
So I think it's every artist has to understand that the music business has like a shelf life. You know what I mean? And what other things can you do? Even if you say, okay, I just want to be a producer, or I want to open a recording label, or I want to start a clothing label, but find something that you plant in your current stage where you are still relevant, that will give you the longevity that you need
Yeah.
in the long run. Yeah.
My final question to you right, is technology's changed so much, right? Even since your breakthrough single 2015, if we look at from 2015 to now, technology's changed a lot.
Absolutely.
So artists, young artists that are listening to this, up and comings that are in the game now, would you say they are at more of an advantage with social media and all these other type of marketing tools, or is it more of a disadvantage? And the reason I say disadvantage is now you have to have some sort of social clout. You have to, whereas your talent alone is not going to get you into spaces. What do you think those big differences are for someone starting out 10 years ago and someone starting out today?
I think it's a good and a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because you post a song, it's the biggest song, you get the clout. But then because you've never really worked hard for it, you don't appreciate it. And that's why you can double book yourself for gigs. You can not pitch for radio interviews because you're like, I don't need them. You know what I mean? But what people don't understand is that music career is almost like the stock market. It goes up and it goes down. You know what I mean? So the time when you were down, you're going to need those radio stations you didn't pitch at to help you push your music and to keep your relevancy. And the artists that you did disrespect on your way up could be on their way up, on your way down, and they could have been the ones that actually said, okay, Maji, I got a song, jump on it. This could give you, the kind of relevancy that you need. And that's the importance of collaboration and staying humble. And there are very few artists who have mastered that, knowing that but relationships are a long-term thing. Yeah.
I love that. All right, well, Cici, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and for making our security guards absolute day. And they get to see her again now when she drives out.
I mean, she's such a gorgeous lady.
Bro.
You've literally saved one of us when we forget our access card.
Yeah, but
We're gonna
Mr.
say
Sportsman
remember.
over there was like, I work here, and they don't open for me.
Yeah,
That is unacceptable.
I tell her, do you know who I am? It's like, Boza, Puma.
Get out.
Okay, sure.